Welcome to this episode of the Heartbeat for Hire podcast. I feature Olympians, CEOs, disruptors, authors, professional athletes, and the best of the best, where they share their stories of resilience with my lens on leadership and culture. Let's get started. Greetings and welcome to this episode of the Heartbeat for Hire podcast. 3 things you will learn in this episode. Number 1, what the hero mindset is. Number 2, when you are faced with hell, how you keep going. And number 3, why everyone needs a sage. And I don't mean sage stick. Kevin Rempel is a 2013 world champion and a 2014 Sochi Paralympic bronze medalist in sledge hockey with an incredible story of overcoming a tremendous amount of adversity. After a freestyle motocross accident left Kevin an incomplete paraplegic at the age of 23, he was told by doctors he would likely never walk again. Well, wait till you hear what happens. Ironically enough, Kevin's father, Jerry, was also paralyzed just 4 years earlier after falling from a tree while deer hunting, rendering him a complete paraplegic. Unfortunately, Jerry soon after took his own life, and though Kevin considered doing the same thing, he knew that he had to take control of his mindset, and he chose a different path. Today, he delivers keynotes and workshops to corporate audiences, helping adopt what he calls the hero mindset, which we're going to talk about, by focusing on small things that make a big difference. He's a mindset coach who uses this framework, and he helps people with disabilities navigate their career and life transitions. He's also an author of Still Standing, and he has been featured around the world in media such as CBS, TSN, and BBC Sport. Kevin, welcome to the show. So happy you're here.
What's up, Lyndsay?
Let's do this. So I start every show the same, and I ask the first question. Can you share a little bit of your story? I gave a teaser, but go a little bit deeper if you don't mind.
For sure. And yeah, thank you. I think that helps because there's so much that I want to share about it. But the gist is today I'm recognized as a Paralympian in sledge hockey. Sledge hockey, for those that don't know, is the Paralympic sport where you play sitting down on the ice. So you're sitting in a sled, pulling yourself around the ice with your arms. You got 2 sticks. You got to pass shoot both hands. But if you see me walking on the street, I'm on 2 legs, like 2 feet. Like I don't have any prosthetics, and for the most part, I look like I'm super normal. What happened is when I was 23, I was riding my dirt bike, pursuing freestyle motocross, the stunts like you see in the X Games. I showed up at my second show ever. I wasn't mentally focused for several reasons, which we could get into. But the first jump of the day, not trying a trick, hit the ramp, had to hit the eject button, fell from the sky 75 feet on a steel landing ramp, broke my back, pelvis, and ribs. I was instantly paralyzed, and luckily, I did not sever my spinal cord. That's what gave me the chance to get better. I say with a little bit of luck, a lot of hard work. I was on my feet in a year walking again, but it was 3 to 4 years to really get my independence back. And just in that area, my spinal cord injury is what led me down the path of the Paralympics to where I am today from my sporting career background.
So during the Paralympics, obviously you weren't walking when you were as a Paralympian, is that right? Or were you walking?
No, I technically was.
Cool.
I started playing the sport. So I was injured in 06, started playing the sport in 08, made Team Canada 2010. So in 08, I was still in and out of my wheelchair a little bit. But by 2010, I've been on my feet full time
Amazing.
since. But I live with an invisible disability. So there's many players that don't look like they have a disability, but they're all struggling with something under the surface.
That's really helpful to understand because I think when people think of the Paralympics, they immediately think prosthetics. We had another Paralympian on the show and he was blind, and I don't think people think of Paralympics that way either. So can you explain that a little bit? Because I don't think people fully understand what a partial paraplegic is or how the Paralympics works that way.
Yes. So Paralympics are focused on people with physical disabilities, whereas something like the Special Olympics is focused on people with cognitive disabilities.
Yeah.
And in terms of the spinal cord injury, or in the realm of spinal cord injuries, Yeah, the two types are complete versus incomplete. So I had an incomplete injury, which meant that I did not sever my spinal cord. Uh, how I fractured my back, my vertebrae pulled and pinched my spinal cord.
Mm,
The the pinching, the bruising, the swelling, the trauma is what cut the circulation function off. But after surgery, with time, swelling goes down. Like I say, a little bit of luck, tremendous amount of hard work. Had the chance to get better.
amazing. So talk about let's talk about the hell because this is a devastating injury. Your father had just gone through it. You already hinted at your mind was elsewhere when you were injured. So talk about what you were going through with the loss of your dad and, how you got yourself into this state of recovery today, just mentally.
Yeah, so yeah, just to expand it slightly on the dad component for everyone who's watching or listening right now. Yeah, when I was 19, 4 years before my accident, we were deer hunting, and dad's up in the tree, branch breaks, falls 2 stories in front of my own eyes. Broke his back, became a complete paraplegic, which meant that my dad did sever his spinal cord.
Yeah,
He struggled with accepting his accident. And again, I'm fast forwarding, like
of course.
my storytelling and now approaching 20 years since everything started to happen. It's like sometimes I talk slower. I know that people will feel more if I'm adding the positive, and sometimes when I'm just excited, I want people to be focused on the positive and the
Yeah,
high note. I talk a little faster. But dad had struggled with his accident. Couldn't accept life with a disability. He was 58 months from retirement.
mm,
Negative attitude drove him into a downward spiral. Gambling addiction took over, which led to mom leaving my dad after 5 years following his accident. But my mom did not leave my dad because of his disability. My mom left my dad because of his attitude
sure.
towards his disability.
Makes sense.
Uh, so following that, super unfortunate, 7 weeks later, my dad ended up taking his own life. And at that point, I was numb to everything that was going on. But a year later, another friend I had with spinal cord injury gave me some Percocet for my pain, which was very real. But within 2 weeks, I had no idea. I was addicted. Now all of a sudden, I'm suicidal
Mm,
and thought of doing the same thing as my dad. And I would say that this is where I didn't know it at the time, even what it was, and I definitely didn't have the name for it. But this is where my mindset started to really become what it is today. Because when I was in that dark place, and I thought about doing the same thing as my dad, what I said to myself was, I don't want that to be the ending to my story. And the final chapter has not been written yet.
mm.
So at that time, I got rid of the pills. I put down like I smashed my bong. I dumped the beer down the drain and some other things too that were not healthy. I stopped any unhealthy behavior, and I just started slowly but surely started turning things back around. And I wrote about it in my book. The very first thing that I focused on doing was going to buy an apple. What I just kind of at the time sort of figured out for myself is I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, I had to start hanging out with my friends. I had to start going back to school because I was skipping classes. My sleep was out of whack. I wasn't going to the gym. But I'm like, if you don't have the energy to work out, if you're not able to sleep, one thing we know is we need to eat every single day.
Yep.
So can I just get a small win at the grocery store and not buy the bag of chips because I was doing it at the time? Can I just start with an apple?
Mhm.
And that was the beginning of me reversing my spiral to get myself back to a healthy place mentally, physically, emotionally. And again, I'm fast forwarding the story here, but like
No, but I
that was
think your
a
your your point
foundation.
your point is so important, and that is you just have to start. And it doesn't matter how big the step is, just take one. And for you, the symbolism of that apple was huge because that was, I'm committing to myself to do something healthy. I'm stopping doing the things that are hurting me, and I want a better life for myself. And so there was a lot of symbolism in that moment. So what's your advice for people that are really going through it? You know, we've got a lot of job seekers that listen to the show. We've got people that have had terrible life altering events. And my intent and my hope is that when they listen to the show, this gives them some hope and makes them rethink things. What advice do you have for them?
You definitely, nailed it. Just start somewhere is absolutely the first step. I talk about learning to walk again. I just started by wiggling one toe.
Yeah.
And my therapist, Chris, said, he's like, every night, every morning, try to wiggle your toe 10 minutes, even if you don't get the result.
Yeah.
And so for 6 weeks, it was like, you're beating your head up against the wall. It's like, you feel like, what is this even worth? Because you're not getting the result. But that's how you start. That's how you start towards achieving something remarkable.
Yeah.
Like learning how to walk again was not like, oh, I just woke up and they just started working. It's like, no, we can all relate to feeling like we have a North Star, something that feels impossible, or we're striving for something greater than we are today. How do you begin? Try to wiggle a toe. What does that one toe look like for you? It might mean start with an apple. It
Yeah.
might mean make one phone call. It might mean send one email.
I mean,
It might
make your
mean,
bed. It might
yeah,
like
legit.
something small. But I've had nerve damage, so I understand that struggle of like how do you get something to work that doesn't work? You can't connect your brain to that body part to make it do what you want it to do. And it's an entirely frustrating situation to be staring at it and say, do it, like do the thing I want you to do. And when you start to see the results, you're like, look, I'm doing it. It's so encouraging, but it's slow. And so, like, how do you maintain that focus, that energy, that drive? What kept you going?
So at the time, like what time of my accident, I don't remember if I'd ever read a book in my life that I couldn't name one if I did. And today, as a keynote speaker, and in my coaching, like what I love helping others see and believe is that we all need a hero for us to believe that we too can become a hero in our own story.
Mhm.
So one of the keys to helping you go through the most difficult and dark times I have experienced, like what I found is, regardless of whatever your experience is that we want to have a vision and hope for the future. And so one of the best ways I believe to find that, number one, trying to find somebody you can identify with who's been through either the same or close to the same sort of struggle you've been through. And examples would be someone who's been through divorce. Like if you're going through that, go find that person who's
Okay.
written a book. If you're an immigrant coming to a new country and trying to settle, somebody else has already done that too. In
Mhm.
my case, a guy named W. Mitchell who had a spinal cord injury, he's the first one of the first spinal cord people that I looked up to. But over the years, I kept finding other people. They'll often be the person that helps you believe that something's possible. But then things like a vision board, as small as that is,
Yeah.
printing 4x6 photos and going to Walmart and paying 50 cents per photo to print them in the dollar store to get a glue stick and Bristol board and putting that on your wall. Like that literally was also the small step, the one toe that helped me keep the vision when things seemed bleak.
Well, I think you hit on it. There's immense power in community. And we're both outliers, so we surround ourselves with people who are phenomenal and extraordinary and who are doing things that we never dreamt we could. And I think, as a speaker, surrounding yourself with other speakers to learn from the best is super wise. So figure out who those models are, your sage, figuring out who your sage is, and look up to them, learn from them, but always give back to others. I think we had Frankie Russo on recently, and he talked about how the way he has stayed sober is by helping others. And that's what keeps him on track. And I think there is some profound gratitude and strength in when you can help others find their path, and really, give that wisdom that they desperately need. So I know you do that. And has that been like a huge part of your experience? Because I'm sure a lot of spinal cord injury folks will come your way.
Yeah, keynote speaking is my full-time career today, in addition to doing some coaching, and both I would say are fluke that it happened. Like I was at family counseling after my dad passed away when I got asked to share my story the first time, and 16 years later, that's like I said, how I earn my living. Yeah, and coaching people with disabilities. I mean, I'll coach anyone. There are people who do not have disabilities that I
Yeah, of
love
course.
helping, but definitely find that I've attracted those people because I know firsthand what it's like to look after someone with a physical disability as a caregiver. And I also have lived it myself. I've been in the wheelchair with a visible disability.
Yep.
And I also today live now walking with an invisible disability.
Sure.
And so whether, folks are acquiring a health disease, maybe they become an amputee, or sports accidents like I've encountered. Um, and it's not just disabilities. Like if I were to really summarize it, it's people who are navigating career and life transitions. The folks that were being like senior leaders who were being let go during COVID, they were reaching out to me quickly because they know that
Yeah.
I've gone through sudden overnight change.
Right.
Um, like divorces or breakups. It's like suddenly
Yeah.
overnight your life is totally different, and that's what I love helping people and organizations like learn how to navigate. Is I love helping people navigate career and life transitions
Yeah.
and stop giving up on things that matter.
Yeah. Well, and I imagine helping them to refocus on what's important because it's so easy to get distracted and bogged down by things that don't move the needle. So keeping them on the path of, okay, just let that one go and focus on what's really going to help you. That's so important. So what is the hero mindset?
We touched on it. The hero mindset is about focusing on small things that make a big difference to become a hero in your own story.
Mm,
It's not overcomplicating things. Like, I in those moments where you feel like giving up, and it may not even feel like giving up. It's like maybe you just want to reach a new level.
mhm,
But yeah, you're trying to either like navigate unexpected change or unwanted change, or you're trying to create it
mm,
because you're not happy with where you're currently at. And choosing to take a step forward, even in the face of adversity, even when it feels impossible, believing that you can and that there is a brighter day ahead, that's what's so important. By doing that, that's how you are living that hero mindset, becoming a hero in your own story.
It's so important. We've had so many guests on the show that have talked about you've got to love yourself, you've got to see yourself for all that you're capable of, and this is definitely in line with that. And I think it's so easy for people to just beat themselves up and talk about their failures and the things that they can't do or the things they haven't done or the things they missed. And you just can't live your life that way. It's not good for you. It's not healthy. It's not going to help you. All
Yeah.
right. So, my friend, what inspires you?
What inspires me? Seeing other people do hard things.
Mm.
That's what inspires me. I was thinking about that in preparation for this call, to be honest with you. My girlfriend Jess, like she's gone through a tremendous amount of stuff in her life, and she's choosing to dive in through therapy. She's choosing to journal. She's choosing to go where it's uncomfortable, and that inspires me.
Mm.
And as you were asking that question, I was thinking, Lyndsay, something I want to share for everyone too.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm coming on here hyped. Yes, I've done a lot, learned to walk, Paralympics, but I also want to let people know that I am just like Jess, just like each of you who are listening. I have, when I was suicidal, I have called the suicide hotline 3 times in my life in my 20s. I have worked with I have not gotten here on my own.
Mm-mm.
I work with a psychologist, a psychiatrist. I've had tremendous support from family and friends. I'm so lucky that I've had a great mother by my side through sport, other people with disabilities in the disability community. Like, I just want to make sure that I point that out because even in my
Yeah.
keynotes, I've learned over the years that I need to remind. I need people hear and see that I am not. The hero mindset came because I came home from Sochi Paralympics with a medal and everyone called me a hero. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. I played hockey.
I was literally what I experienced. People are like, "You're a hero," and I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm just Kevin." They're like, "Well, how'd you do it?" And then I was like, I went to the dictionary first to look up the definition, defined as a person admired for sorry, admired or idealized for courage, outstanding achievements, or noble qualities. But the courage and noble qualities, especially the courage component, that's what's important. I just wanted people to hear that it's like, yes, I'm hyped. Yes, I'm excited right now, but I know what it's like to pull the bed sheets over your head when you're crying yourself to sleep. I laid there with my legs shaking from the nerve damage and the muscle spasms keeping me awake. you know, I do not have a perfect relationship. I still got issues every day from bowel and bladders, muscle spasms, pins and needles, chronic fatigue, pain, muscle atrophy. I'm human,
Yeah.
but we can choose how we think in the face of adversity. And like you say, what inspires me is seeing people choose to do the hard thing, doing the hard work, taking a step, even when it's uncomfortable, even when they feel like they can't, but take one more step.
Well, what you just said was so important. Thank you for going there because I think there are people that think things are hopeless. And if you didn't get it from Kevin, listen to Amberly Lago's episode. She was in a terrible, terrible accident and was told she was going to lose her leg. And she's like, oh, hell no, I'm keeping it. I have a 1% chance. I'm keeping it. And she did. And she lives with pain every day. And she chooses differently. She chooses to show up. And these stories, I do this for a reason. I want you to be inspired. I want you to listen to what Kevin's saying and do right for yourself. Surround yourself with people who can lift you up and who want to see you win because you're valued, you're important. Your life journey is important to all of us. So super important. So, perfect lead in. What would you like your legacy to be?
I it's been such a journey. Like I said, I want to help people. If I were to think about how I'd want to be remembered, it's to help, like I said, help people stop giving up on things that matter, whether that's like giving up on your career, your relationship, your physical health, your mental health, your dreams, whatever that is for you. Um, I've definitely hit well, not only have I hit my 40s, but like I have reached a tipping point in I would call it my spiritual journey, where I've spent so many years of my life in it for what's in it for me kind of thing,
Yeah.
like personal accomplishments. And even as I was speaking on stage, in hindsight, I've now shifted my narrative, like I said, to remember to recognize others. And I started my coaching program a year ago for the purpose because I was sick and tired of having all this knowledge and experience and not sharing with people and knowing that when I do, how much I can help. My group's really small right now, to be honest. I haven't had the bandwidth to grow it to the size that I'd like it to be, but giving back and helping other people and helping people, not just feel better, but like live better as a result of like getting the chance to connect. That's what I really enjoy what I want to leave behind.
Love it. And what's next for Kevin?
I definitely want to continue speaking. I would love to be on, well, I average about 20 to 25 events a year. I'd love to be about 30 to 35. So I'd like to add maybe about 10 more. And I really want to grow the coaching group. I'd love to help people with disabilities more. And I'm definitely open to helping anybody that's navigating a career or life transition.
I love it. And how can people find you?
My name is the simplest. Well, I think it's simple and just kevinrempel.com, Rempel, but kevinrempel.com. Kevin at Kevin Rempel is my email, at Kevin Rempel on social. Just send me a DM, please, or yeah, message me and I'll,
Say you heard him here. Say you heard him here and that Lyndsay sent you. Guys, if you know of anybody who has suffered a major life-altering event, have them reach out to Kevin. He is putting good out into the world. And if I can help you, you know where to find me. Kevin, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you for being here.
thanks, Lyndsay. Been a blast.
Everybody, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Heartbeat for Hire podcast. If you liked what you heard, subscribe to the YouTube channel, or please go leave a review on Apple or Spotify. That's what helps us grow the show. I love being with you, Kevin. Thanks, everybody. Take care and lead with heart. Have a great day. Are you ready to elevate your leadership style and create an exceptional workplace that stands out from the crowd? I'm here to introduce you to a game-changing resource that will transform the way you lead and shape your company culture. It's time to embrace the power of top-down culture. This practical guide empowers your leadership for lasting success, helping you create a workplace where everyone thrives. Get top-down culture today, and let's reshape the future of leadership together. Thanks for listening to this episode of Heartbeat for Hire. I hope you enjoyed what you heard. If you did, please subscribe to my YouTube channel or consider leaving a 5-star review and a great rating at Spotify or Apple. Thank you so much for your support. Have a great day.